Get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise to the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Guys, we're learning new details tonight about the Savannah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian case. So what we learned today is there is a third arrest in this case, and it is the stepmother. Yes, it is a family affair there at the Preciado household. So stepmom is now behind bars. Take a look. Can you believe this? This is a pregnant teen that was gunned down senselessly, and the whole family is involved. That was one thing that we learned. We learned, here's the kicker. It appears the drug deal happened earlier in the day. Check this out.
Do you know that there was, I guess, a transaction earlier in that night?
If you're unfamiliar with this case, this is the case of Savannah Soto. She's an 18-year-old pregnant mom-to-be getting ready to burst when she disappeared. Many believed her boyfriend was responsible, and then they were found in their car a day after Christmas, both gunned down. Since the day law enforcement has found the car and both Savannah and Matthew and their unborn baby, Fabian, unalive, they have tirelessly worked this case, and since then, 3 people have been arrested. Most notable, this gal right here, Mirta Ramones. I don't understand how anyone can dispose of a body, let alone a pregnant teenage girl. Let's listen to what law enforcement has to say about this most recent arrest.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. We're going to provide you with an update on the Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra case. Today, as you saw, we just made another arrest. This is the third arrest in this case.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Having some audio issues. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my phone. I think I got too much shit on my phone. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. So let me go ahead and delete this off here. Hopefully that'll help my phone. I had some audio issues with the press conference, but that's okay because the press conference we're going to be going over anyways this morning. Good morning to everybody that's in the chat. We have over 182 messages so far. I'm not going all the way up to the top. I don't know who was here first. So whoever was here first this morning, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Right. So I see our beautiful Sonia Drew is in the house. Pebbles. Good morning, Rhonda. Bayou Babe. Bookworm. TLC is me. Pebbles. I see you. Nice to see you, love. Hopefully that grandbaby is giving you a bunch of love and a new experience, huh? GG for life. Guidance, Bayou Babe. I think I already said hi to you, Bayou. MJ, good morning. Tammy, good morning. Net L, it's nice to see you. I am Team Summer. Good morning. Good morning. Cass, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful huntress is in the house. Second Thesis, nice to see you. We have our resident defense attorney, Big Mac Mike, up in the house. I need to stop. Actually, I need to hook up my other buttons. I have too many buttons to push. It's just, I tell you what, I got to tell you, I worked up like literally, I was sweating this morning. I was wondering if I was going to be able to start on time. I'm behind here and I'm trying to get this video out and it sucks that my volume, I thought I pitched the volume up. It must have downgraded the volume during the transfer. I'm not sure. It's me, Jen, JB's mama. Guidance, nice to see you. It's nice to see everyone at Cool Gamer. If I missed you, Manic Mama T, it's nice to see you. Kay, Marie, it's nice to see you as well. I'm trying to see if I'm missing. I know I probably missed a lot of people. Connie Branch is up in the house. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's nice to see you. So it's kind of a shocker, but not a shocker in the Savannah Soto, Matthew Guerra case. Because let's face it, we watched. I mean, one of the first things that we noticed when they released this video is, remember, I even stopped the video. I'm like, what is that? Something just popped out. It was just this white little, almost like a little light that dinged because it was so dark and the towel was so white that we're like, what is that? And we kept looking and kept going and we couldn't even figure out what it was. I mean, honestly, when I first watched that video, I couldn't tell what the heck that was. I didn't know if they were transferring a gun from one car to another. I didn't know who that was, what was going on. We just see this blob. We see this blob moving. It was there 1 second and it wasn't there another second. Hey, PJ, good morning. Good morning. Oh, Julie, thank you. God bless you. If you received your 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships, don't forget to tell Julie, thank you. Thank you, love. And I think you did something else this morning. Oh, you became the new member over here on this channel. Thank you, love. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. So, oh, wow. Merida's bond is 1.1 million. That's higher than Ramos's, Ramon's, isn't it? 1.1 million, man. You know what? But you don't lie to law enforcement. And not only that, but she's a woman and now she's not being cooperative. I mean, you have 2 adults in this house. It sounds to me we're going to go on to another quick story before we dive right into this real quick. But before we get further, I mean, you've got this woman. We're going to go over her affidavit. We do have that, I think. I'm pretty sure we do. I got to find it, but we do have it. And at the end of the day, this is my biggest problem. Okay, no matter how bad this sounds coming out of my mouth, it is what it is. Okay, I can't make it and package it any better than just telling you like it is. Okay, some people are offended by that. Not my problem. Okay, so if this offends you, I'm sorry, but again, it's not my problem. Don't be so highly offended. I don't know what else to say, right? Stop, Bullhorn, Betty. You're mean. You're mean. I mean, if this was just Matthew Guerra being shot due to a drug deal, this case would never have gotten the attention that it did. Okay, period. It just wouldn't. No matter how we flip the coin, if Matthew Guerra was out there and he had this drug deal and he got shot in the process, or his body wound up in a car dumped all by itself, nobody, I mean, it sounds horrible to say it, but again, I'm not a PC person and I'm not going to walk on eggshells because I'm worried about somebody making a stupid video about what I'm going to say. So I'm just going to say it. Nobody would have gave a damn. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People can beat me up all day long. I'm not the one that's not making it give a damn, right? But let's face it, if it was just Matthew Guerra, this case wouldn't be where it is. Period. It is an 18-year-old pregnant mom-to-be, hours from giving birth to her baby. That's what made this case what it is today. And the reason why we are so highly offended is because we see adults involved in a pregnant teen's murder. And I'm sorry, that really irks a lot of people, especially a lot of people like me, you know, females, right? Maybe the guys can look the other way. Maybe the guys are like not so emotionally involved, but there's a lot of women out there. And let's be honest, we're all pretty upset about this. So much so that we would like to be in the jail cell with some of these people, right? Let's be honest. We've all said it. Just let me at them, right? Right? I'm not lying. Let me at them. So if it was just Matthew, this case would not be garnering the attention it is. It's about Savannah and it's about the baby, and as unfortunate and as horrible and as heartless as that sounds, it is the truth. And I can't fake the truth. Okay. That is the reality of it. If you don't believe me, let's talk about the million other guys out there slinging dope that's lying in a gutter somewhere. When have they ever made worldwide news before? It ain't happening. It's that baby. It's baby Fabian, period. And this is where we get our problems, because how can adults, parents, do this? Of all people in the world to have experience on the beauty of parenthood would be a parent, and to take away the life or try to cover up the fact that your offspring, the person you were able to raise, killed a woman and prevented her and her child the same opportunities you, Mr. Ramon, got to have with your son that you screwed up, by the way. When I hear 19-year-old boys shooting people and I see fathers throwing gang signs up with their son, I'm not going to blame the son as much as I'm going to blame the parent. Why is this situation the way it is? Because of Ramon. Period. There is not a doubt in my mind that we are here today because of Ramon. And Ramon is the one that apparently has the least amount of bond. Okay, well, we're going to direct, okay? So get those energies flowing. Get those thoughts moving, because we're going to just take a deep breath. Woo-saw something. We're going to move on to another case real quick, and then we're going to come back to this, okay? because this is a case that we brought up on this show. Remember that well-known rapper that looked like he was from a Looney Tune farm? The one that had like the great outdoors bear? I know there's got to be old enough people in this room to know what the great outdoors is, right? With Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, where they buzz the bear. They buzz the bear. So this guy is the great outdoors bear, right? He's got this weird buzz thing going on with his hair sticking up and stuff like that. And he was in the courts because he abducted a female and housed her in his house and locked her away for like 4 or 5 years. Remember, we just did this a couple days ago. Well, there's a little slight update in that case. It's not a very good update by any stretch of the imagination, but an update nonetheless. It is apparent that apparently his wife or his long-term girlfriend, even when this lady was living in this house as a capturee, right? I don't know what they call them. She was abducted. She willingly went with this guy. She was heavily pregnant, willingly went with this guy because she was on the streets and she was heavily pregnant. And he ended up abducting her and locking her in his garage. And held her captive for 4 or 5 years, something to that effect. Well, she used his computer to call law enforcement. Law enforcement showed up. Nobody would answer the door. And they knocked on a neighbor's door. And as they're knocking on the neighbor's door and questioning him, this heavily 9-month or 8-month pregnant woman is trying to squeeze herself out of this house, this window that she's locked in because she's being held captive. So they take her to the hospital, and apparently this is not the first time this has happened. And every time she's gone to the hospital, this yahoo's come and picked her up and taken her back and held her captive again. Well, he was arrested and charged with some really extensive crimes, and he is in jail right now, but they could not find the witness. Well, during their crusade in trying to find the witness, some of the news outlets realized that another lady had actually died in this home. His girlfriend or wife, her name was Lee Arthur Carter, Catherine Roberts, 61. And she was recovered on July 5th. She died in that home during this time when he's holding this other lady captive. He says that she died from alcoholic liver disease and hepatitis C. Now, granted, they're talking about her having some internal bleeding as to what, caused her to die, but they basically said that this was all natural causes and stuff like that. But could there be more here, especially with the internal bleeding? Could he have punched her? Could he have done something to her? We don't know. Either way, we have the one lady dead. They recovered her from the house. It was all natural. Apparently nobody was arrested, so they say. But this other lady that went missing, that was heavily abused by this guy and held captive, he's actually in jail for. Well, listen to this. They did find her at the time of his arraignment and his hearing. Remember, we watched it and they cleared the courtroom so they could talk about the very disgusting behaviors and why he's there. Well, they did not reduce his bond, and they did find the lady. The lady is okay. They were very, very concerned for her health because the last time they had seen her, she was only merely 70 pounds. They still have no idea what happened to the baby. To the best of my knowledge, she may have the baby. She may not have the baby. I'm unsure. But it does look like these charges will go forward, and it does look like she's happy and healthy. So, that is probably the best news from going from not knowing where she is and her possibly being dead to her being happy and healthy. And her abductor behind bars. Well, it's a good day. It's definitely a good day. So we have the third arrest in this case. We're going to go ahead. I'm just going to throw this up here because it's really heartbreaking for me to understand how a boy that went to school, graduated school, how this man turned out to be this horrible killer that he was. Why did he bring the gun to this situation? It almost seems as if he knew what he was planning on doing, because we have some problems we definitely have some problems in paradise here, because at the end of the day, we now have learned several factors. Okay, yes, premeditated. This is something that I really have been kind of saying from the very beginning. I cautioned everybody about the gun. We all believe that it's possible that the gun was Matthew's. We even presented information what made everybody kind of believe that this was Matthew's gun, and I even said that there is a strong possibility it could be Matthew's gun because of these factors. But because people were so adamant that it was his gun, I came on here and said, hey, wait a minute. We're assuming a lot. We are assuming a lot, from assuming where they were killed at. We have no knowledge that they were actually killed at that house. It is leading that they were somewhere near that house where they were killed, because the affidavit clearly has that intersection where their house sits on. So there's also a back gate to that house that many people are overlooking. There's a whole huge backyard that somebody could pull up into as well. And there's almost like a bar or some type of outdoor living space in that backyard. So, I believe it happened right around there. It either happened in the driveway, in the grass, or in the roadway in front of their home. They're talking about there being a vacant lot down the road that they were at. And while I agree that sounds like a perfect place for this transaction to happen, that's not what the affidavit says. The affidavit specifically says that they made it to that subject location, and within 4 minutes of arriving at that subject location, the car was leaving that subject location and being and on its way to being dumped. It was dumped within 9 minutes of them pulling up to that residence. So I don't know how they couldn't have been killed either in the roadway, in the driveway, or in the yard of that residence, if not in the house, which would have muffled the shots as well. And we're talking about these video cameras. We put up here on this channel showing you guys where all these video cameras are, and explaining that there is probably a lot of digital footing and footprint. I mean, there's cameras everywhere, literally everywhere, on homes, on businesses, on traffic cameras. And we're learning from this newest affidavit that these cameras, predominantly the cameras in and around their residence, are the ones that kind of sealed the fate for Myrta. I think I'm saying her name, Myrta, Myrta, Myrta. And her name is Ramos, I believe, is it? Romanos. Samirta Romanos is her name. And she is the stepmother. She's been with the father for a significant amount of time. She was a very heavy. I mean, she's much thinner now than she was years ago, around 2012, about 10 years ago. She was a very obese woman, and looks like she started taking better care of herself. She's lost a significant. No, she's not that. My understanding, she is not the bio mom. She's the stepmother, the father's girlfriend. They may be common law husband and wife, but they're not lawfully or legally married. So we're going to say it's the girlfriend. We'll call her the stepmother because it appears she's been in the life of Christopher since he was a young boy. Not a toddler, but a young boy. So this woman has a significant impact on Christopher and Christopher's life. Now, again, 19-year-old boy, don't know what's going on in his life. We know he recently graduated. I'm a little hesitant on saying he graduated in 2023 because most people typically graduate between 17 and 18, which would have put him at the 2022 graduation. I kept looking at Marshall High School graduation 2023, and they were all in black gowns. All the Marshall colleges were all in black gowns. I think I looked at the one in Kansas, the one in Texas. There's another Marshall High School in another state. They all had black gowns. So as you recall, Christopher was in a maroon type of gown. It didn't match any of, unless they pulled the video and replaced it because there was getting too much, viewing and, privacy stuff going on with the kids. Because let's face it, Most of these kids, the parents want this stuff online so they can go and capture some good cut, footage of their child walking down the aisle, professional footage. So they put it up on Facebook, but nobody anticipates having a national case where one of your students is arrested for homicide, and not only that, double homicide, and one that a pregnant teen is a victim. It just doesn't make common sense. And to think that this is all over weed, I just don't think this is all over weed. There's just, it never made sense to me. 19-year-old kids just don't, there's something more here, and I don't know what it is. I think we all feel it, but we just can't put our finger on it. So let's go ahead. Since I had horrible audio, I'm going to be working on my audio, because I am going to update that video. There were a couple key takeaways that we got yesterday, and one was the gun. The gun was not Matthew's, and I'm very thankful that Matthew and Savannah weren't killed with his gun. You guys don't understand, as a gun owner myself, and adamant about gun safety and stuff like that, and teaching your children young, because I think education in any type of situation is the best strategy, no matter what, because when you educate your children, especially at a young age, they're so impressionable at that time that education that you give them, the younger they are, the more that they will remember it. It's an amazing thing. So I really feel teaching children young not to touch guns, or if you're going to have a gun in your house, letting them know where it is and how it's not a toy. In my opinion, I really do appreciate, there's a lot of things in my life that weren't good. We all know that, I'm Bullhorn Betty because of, the life and the walk that I've taken. But, I have to agree with my parents' parenting when it came to guns. I do have to say that I think they got this right, because as soon as we were old enough to move on our own in the house, we had guns. Back in my day, you didn't have you very rarely had a gun safe. You never had to lock your guns up. You never had to do any of this. I really don't. I don't get it. Parents just kept guns out of the reach of children. Were there fire things that happened? I'm sure there were. Maybe not to the extent they are today, but I think a lot of it was because we didn't have the reporting like we have today. Like, everything is front page news with social media and the internet. Like, back in the day, it took weeks and months to get news stories around. Now it's taking literally seconds and minutes. So I don't know if it's really that the stuff has increased more so than we're just learning more about it in large numbers, because we have access to it now where we didn't. But either way, whatever the reason may be, I do agree with my parents. As soon as we knew of guns, and we were no longer, even water guns, we were no longer allowed to point those at us, especially our face. If we were caught pointing a gun, pointing a water gun, pointing anything at any of our faces, even as a joke to squirt water in them, we would be in timeout. We would have our butts whipped, because we have guns in the house. And that was a learning lesson for my parents, teaching me never to point a gun, and always letting me know that even guns that look like toys can do damage. And so they taught me at a very young age never to point a gun, even water guns. It sounds crazy. Like, we buy our kids water guns so they can play in the pool and stuff like that. Do you know, I never stopped having fun with a water gun just because I couldn't point it in somebody's face and squirt it at them. We kept it all below the chest. We had so much fun. We had so much fun. And while I understand that the controversy with guns and whatever, it's to each your own. If you don't want to carry a gun, nobody's forcing you to carry a gun, right? Can you imagine if somebody was coming in your house and forcing you to carry a gun? You'd be highly upset. I don't want a gun. Why are you forcing me to? So think about that on the other foot. Like, you're trying to take other people's guns away that are responsible gun owners. At the end of the day, the majority of our problems are with people abusing their rights to guns. I mean, it is a constitutional right. We have a right to bear arms, and that right should not be infringed upon. Okay, that is the law of the land. And it's based on that statement, there should not be any restrictions on allowing people to have guns. And I honestly believe if there were no restrictions on people having guns, this would be a safe place, because the people that are toting guns for bad things are going to be executed by the people that are toting guns for the good things, and vice versa. This is not going to go. No matter what, evil is going to be evil. We take away all the guns in this world. We can't take away all the automobiles. We can't take away all the knives. We can't take away all the hammers. We can't. People that want to hurt somebody are going to hurt them no matter what tool they use to do it, because it's not the tool that they're using. It's the person. It's the person that's evil. It's the person that's wielding that tool to cause harm to an innocent person. It's not the tool. It's the person holding the tool. So I just want to get away from that. Either way, we're going to get off that diatribe. We're going to go straight to Myrna's, the press conference related to the third arrest. We learned that the gun was hers, and we learned that most likely the homicide happened at that house, not in the house, but it sounds like on the outskirts of the house, yard, driveway, or roadway. It sounds like that happened. It sounds like we learned that they have some good surveillance videos, some good CCTV footage, either from neighbors' cameras, street cameras, or other type of cameras. It sounds like this is a well-documented case, even as vague as that arrest affidavit is. And we learned that the family, 3 people live in that house, 3 people were arrested, and every last one of them had a hand in covering up this crime. Again, I don't know how you can go to bed feet from a person that just executed 2 people. I personally don't know how that is accomplished, because let me tell you, if my child is capable of that, even my stepchildren, you guys know I don't have biological children, but I have stepchildren. If my stepchildren were capable of that kind of crime, either they're leaving this house or I'm leaving this house. I don't care which one goes, but one of us are going. I am not going to lay my head next to somebody that is capable of that type of crime. There is no way. There is no way. At that point, they're capable of anything. I'm not putting myself in jeopardy. I'm out of there. If I got to sleep in my damn car, I'm sleeping in my car, but you are not making me sleep next to somebody that has the ability and the wherewithal to put a gun to somebody's head and pull the trigger. It just isn't happening. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this press conference. Let's see what we can find out. I think there's a lot of information here. We've got to listen very closely, and I think they tell us every single one of these press conferences, we get just a little nugget more of information, and that's what we're doing here. We're trying to find a little more nugget of information, and I think that they said some things, just like the press conference with the chief of police. We listened to it over and over again, and the light bulb didn't even click. They had Matthew's phone. They had Matthew's phone the entire time. Let's just hear this before we get into this, and then we'll get back to our regular scheduled show. I have some breaking news in the Savannah Soto case. Savannah Soto was a pregnant 18-year-old mom-to-be, and she was reported missing on December 23rd. He also learned that her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, was also missing at the time of her disappearance. Due to an altercation, many people thought he was responsible for her disappearance. He soon found out that to be different. Christopher and Ramon Preciado were arrested in connection with the death of baby Fabian, Matthew Guerra, and Savanah Soto. Rumors had it that during the investigation, Matthew Guerra's phone was not found. That is not true. Take a listen. So we learned this morning that Matthew Guerra's phone appears to be with law enforcement. I don't know quite how we missed this, but I want you to check this out.
Detectives learned that both victims were involved in the sale of narcotics and used their cell phones to conduct much of their business. Detectives collected the victims' phones. Detectives collected the victims' phones. Detectives collected the victims' phones.
Did you clearly hear that police chief said both their phones are in their possession, custody, and control? Not verbatim, but check this out one more time.
Detectives collected the victims' phones.
So now that we know law enforcement not only has Savannah Soto's phone, they also have Matthew's phone. Is this something that should be concerning? Here's why. They kept it under wraps, and many people have been letting us know that Matthew Guerra's phone had not been found by law enforcement.
Clearly it has. We know he was dealing in substances, an array of substances, from marijuana to pills to more excessive drugs. So I just want to know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you. So there you have it. Again, we found out through another press conference that his phone was found. And we've been talking about this at length, even yesterday, discussing this whole thing about his phone and how we're assuming a lot that, just because Matthew had his phone doesn't necessarily mean that that gun was what was used. Just because Christopher said that doesn't make it so. Now, when we go back to that affidavit of probable cause or affidavit of arrest in Texas, we learned that story Chris told, which none of us believed to begin with, right? Let's face it. None of us believed Chris's story out the gate because it made no sense. If Matthew is going to point a gun at somebody, he's most likely going to pull the trigger. But in the case that he just wants to threaten somebody, and that guy wrestles the gun and shoots his pregnant girlfriend, at that point, if Matthew had gotten that gun back in his possession, custody, and control, Christopher would be dead. Period. So this idea that they wrestled with this gun and that he was able to overcome Matthew not once but twice, and Matthew couldn't pull the first trigger or the first shot, but somehow Chris, in both of these times of manipulating this gun out of Matthew's hand, was able to shoot both of them with contact wounds. From my understanding, Savannah has a gunshot wound behind the ear. And from my understanding, it seems to be close to in proximity to where Matthew's gunshot may be as well. We don't know. We don't know. But let's get back to this press conference, see what we can learn. She's got a lot of information. We have to open our ears and listen to what the words that are coming out of her mouth. This was not a gang kit. This was not a coordination of some top, kingpins. This was a dispute between some jitterbugs over some petty ass BS. Excuse my language, but that's what it is.
Warning, bullshit alert.
All right. So it was over some petty jitterbug situation. And we're learning the situation may have happened earlier that day. And this was his stepmom's gun, leading us more to the premeditation. When we got that arrest record and we realized within 10 minutes from the time Matthew pulled up to the time that car was dumped was less than 10 minutes, that is what changed my mind. That's what made me believe that this was premeditated. More is involved with this case, specifically because of the timing. Specifically because of the timing and the timing alone. Let's listen.
On the Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra case. First and foremost, once again, SAPD wants to extend our condolences to the family of Savannah and Matthew.
That's the best I'm going to be able to get
today,
for volume.
As you saw, we just made another arrest. This is the third arrest in this case. Just to recap, back on December 23rd, Leon Valley PD reported that Savannah and Matthew Guerra were reported missing to their jurisdiction. On December 26th, SAPD officers received a call for a disturbance. When those officers made that location, they discovered the bodies of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. They were found deceased in their vehicle, the Kia Optima, that had also been reported missing. Since then, our homicide unit has done an outstanding job in following this case. They followed every lead. They were able to get surveillance video, which led them to these arrests that were made. On January 3rd, we made two arrests, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado and 53-year-old Ramon Preciado. There was a lot of information on social media that there was a third individual involved. Our homicide detectives were aware of that. However, we were looking for enough probable cause to make that arrest and to present the best case forward to the DA's office. Today, that happened. They were able to develop enough evidence to charge 47-year-old Mirta Romanos, that's Myrta Ramanos, She is believed to be, I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is, but maybe a stepmother to Christopher, 19-year-old Christopher. She is being charged with 3 felonies. The first one being alter, destroy, conceal a human corpse, which is a second-degree felony. She's also being charged with abuse of corpse, which is a state jail felony, and a third charge, tampering with evidence.
All right, sorry about that. We're getting the affidavit of hers pulled up right now, and while we're on this vein, I'm going to go ahead and just switch over so we can see the affidavit of arrest for her, because I think that this is important. How's that? Perfect. So it says an actor in this case has been identified as Murta Ramon. I can never say this. Ramonas. I can't seem to say her last name. Ramonas. Anyways, she's born. She's only 3 years older than me. And it says your affiant has probable cause for the said belief by reason of the following facts. On December 23rd, 2023, Leon Valley Police called for a missing persons report 2023 LVPD 004618. Family of missing person stated she was supposed to be induced for her pregnancy and did not show up for appointment. The family advised they had not been able to get a hold of the female and stated she was not answering her phone. A check of the hospital was conducted by family, and it was found that the female was not in any of the hospitals. It was found that the female lived with her boyfriend. However, the family of the boyfriend advised they were not able to get in touch with him as well. The female was entered as a missing person by Leon Valley. Further investigation found that the female and her boyfriend were not responding to any phone calls, and their whereabouts were unknown. Media broadcast on the news the story of the missing female and her boyfriend. In the media, the boyfriend's car description was broadcasted in the media and was said to be a 2013 gray Kia Optima. On December 26, 2023, a resident at 5903 Danny K Drive messaged the family of the female and advised them that they believed the vehicle was parked at 5903 Danny K Drive. The family contacted Leon Valley and drove to the location. Upon Leon Valley Police arriving to the location, Leon Valley Police observed the vehicle. Inside of the vehicle was a deceased pregnant female in the front seat and a deceased male in the back seat of the vehicle. San Antonio Police were contacted, and your affiant made the location. Upon arrival to the location, your affiant observed the vehicle. The vehicle was a 2013 Kia Optima with Texas license plate TRC 9447. Your affiant checked the VIN number, and the VIN number was the same VIN number that was broadcasted on the news for the missing couple. A check of the information through the NCIC, TCIC showed the vehicle belonged to the boyfriend of the female. Oh, thank you, Jennifer, for the one gifted membership. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, please wait until I'm done because I'm reading this. I'm not paying attention to anything in chat. Okay, so just bear with me until I'm done. If you have questions, and we'll look into the questions. Your affiant was observed in the front right seat. Excuse me. Your affiant observed the front right passenger side of the vehicle. Your affiant observed a deceased pregnant female inside the front passenger seat. Due to your affiant's knowledge of the female on previous murder case from 2022, which must have been her brother, your affiant recognized the female to be that of the missing female. The female appeared to have trauma to her head. The affiant then observed the back seat of the vehicle. Your affiant observed a deceased male in the back seat of the vehicle. The deceased male resembled the boyfriend to the female. The male had an apparent gunshot wound to his head. It appeared the male had been dragged into the vehicle. Your affiant did not observe any weapon near the male. A search warrant was requested so the entry into the vehicle could be conducted. While waiting for the search warrant, your affiant spoke to the families of the female and the male. It was found that the boyfriend to the female sold narcotics and would use his phone through cellular communications as well as social media to sell narcotics. It was also advised that the boyfriend would post money and narcotics on Instagram.
It was stated that people wanted to rob the boyfriend, and it was stated that the boyfriend had been shot at before. The family provided your affiant with the phone number of the female. The family of the male provided your affiant with his phone number and his Instagram. When the search warrant arrived at the location, a search of the vehicle was conducted. The search found spent shell casing in the vehicle. However, there was no weapon recovered in the vehicle. There was apparent blood transfer on the outside of the vehicle that was not consistent with the boyfriend causing harm to the female. Both female and male had gunshot wounds to the head, and the male also had apparent drag marks on his back. It was believed that the female and male were killed at a different location, and the vehicle was driven to the recovered location. During the investigation, your affiant found surveillance video at 5903 Danny K. The video surveillance found that on December 21st, 2023, at 59, we already know this. Hold on, let me see if this is, let me get to the Myrta's comp. Let me see if there, actually, I'm just going to keep reading in case there is some new information in this particular detail. Let me make sure this is from Myrta. Yes, it is. Okay. I just wanted to be ultra. So during the investigation, your affiant found a surveillance video at 5903 Danny K. The video surveillance found on December 21st, 2023 at 23:59 hours, a Silverado gray driving it with its lights off from the vehicle recovered location. The Silverado pulled in the middle of the back parking lot and parked the vehicle. The victim's vehicle could be seen approaching the Silverado. The victim's vehicle parked next to the Silverado. A heavy-set male exited the Silverado, and the driver's side door of the victim's car vehicle opened. A heavy-set male approached the driver of the victim's vehicle and appeared to speak to the driver. The heavy-set male then got a towel from his vehicle and appeared to wipe down the outside of the vehicle, the victim's vehicle door where he had touched the vehicle. Surveillance video appeared to show a third person throw a towel to the heavy-set man, which led police to believe a second person was inside the Chevrolet Silverado. The driver of the victim's car exited the vehicle for a brief moment and sat back in the driver's seat. The driver did not match the description of the female victim or the male victim. The Hispanic male got back into his vehicle. The victim's vehicle drove behind the building where the vehicle was found on December 26th. The Silverado followed the victim's vehicle. Interesting. I also want to say that many people believe now that they see the stepmom, that they believe the stepmom was driving the car. I don't believe it. I believe when I looked at that face, again, it's a younger face getting out of that car. It's not, it had no wrinkles on it. If you look at it close enough, you can see the differences. And it was absolutely Chris driving the victim's car, and his parents picked him up. So, and even with we're going to get back to the press conference with the police officer lady to hear, but I wanted to read this since this was something that many may have seen, may have read, may not have read. Approximately 3 minutes later, so the Silverado followed the victim's vehicle. Approximately 3 minutes later, the Silverado was observed leaving from behind the building where the victim's vehicle was found. The victim's vehicle did not leave that location. So he came there and he picked up his son. And him and Myrta took his son back to the house where they saw the video of them getting out of the truck, all three of them. It was believed that the victims were already deceased in the vehicle at the time the video was observed. It is believed the unknown driver and the heavy-set male observed park the victim's vehicle at the location in an effort to hide the vehicle. On December 2nd, 2024, your affiant provided one of the victim's cell phones to Detective Knox at the Technical Investigation Unit, and on January 3rd, your affiant received the phone download from Detective Knox. Affiant found that the victim had recently searched Charlie Chan Drive due to your affiant's knowledge of the crime area. Your affiant is aware that Charlie Chan Drive was a couple blocks away from the victim's vehicle recovery location. Everybody said that there was no connection to that apartment complex, but if it was only a couple blocks away, there is a connection to that apartment complex. It's someplace that they drove by every single day. if it's just a few blocks away. Every single day, they would have had knowledge of it. Your affiant was able to discover that the victim's vehicle being near Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive. And if you notice, that Charlie Chan Drive address is a corner lot right on Cary Grant Drive and Charlie Chan Drive. So it's right there. And they're saying that this is where the car went. So it went to that intersection, what happens to be their house. So it's implying that whatever happened at their house. Okay. They haven't said it yet, but it does imply that potentially be the case. I'll get this back up here so you guys can still read with me. Your affiant conducted computer research and was able to locate the vehicle that looked identical to the suspect vehicle on camera with the victim's vehicle. Your affiant did research the owner of the vehicle and found the owner of the vehicle to match the description of the male that exited the vehicle on camera. Homicide detectives went to the vehicle location listed above and found the listed vehicle at the location. While at the residence on Charlie Chan Drive, a person identified as Ramon Preciado reported knowing why SAPD was at his residence. Ramon Preciado informed SAPD detectives to speak to his son, identified as Christopher Preciado. Raymond Preciado and Christopher Preciado were transported to SAPD homicide to speak with your affiant while additional SAPD detectives searched the residence on Charlie Chan Drive under the authority of a search warrant. Your affiant spoke with Raymond Preciado. After Raymond Preciado was read his Miranda warnings, Raymond Preciado admitted to driving his Chevy Silverado to Danny K Drive, where he met Christopher Preciado. Raymond identified himself on surveillance video from the 5903 Danny K Drive as the person observed exiting the Chevrolet Silverado. Raymond Preciado reported meeting Christopher Preciado at the apartment complex, who was driving another vehicle. So Chris was in control of the victim's vehicle. The vehicle is the vehicle in which Matthew Guerra and Savanah Soto were found deceased. So Raymond Preciado puts his son in that car. Raymond Preciado admitted to assisting Christopher at 5903 K Drive. They stop it there. They don't elaborate what type of assistance that was. We see on the video surveillance that he's wiping the car down, but we have to acknowledge that there are some things that may have happened off that camera that we're not aware of. And, that could be an issue. Your affiant spoke with Christopher Preciado. After Chris was read his Miranda warnings, Christopher Preciado reported Matthew Guerra and Savannah Soto drove to his residence on Charlie Chan Drive to sell Christopher Preciado marijuana. We're going to hear from this press conference that I'm going to play that it sounds like this marijuana transaction happened earlier in that day or earlier in that evening before this particular altercation took place. Christopher Preciado went on to provide a version of events that were inconsistent with the evidence collected at the scene and from the victims recovered vehicle. Christopher claimed that the male pointed a weapon at him, and Christopher was able to manipulate the weapon, resulting in the female being shot. Christopher then stated he had the weapon pointed at him again, and he manipulated the weapon again, resulting in the male victim being shot. On January 4th, 2024, your affiant spoke to Mirta Ramos. Mirta stated on the night of the incident, she was at her residence at 5735 Charlie Chan Drive with Ramon and Christopher. Mirta could not recall the events of the night, stating that she thought she was sleeping. So she absolutely lies to law enforcement. You don't forget something like this. I guarantee each and every one of us would have never forgot an incident like this, because it never happens. It would never happen again, hopefully, knock on wood. During the search of Mirta's residence, Mirta's bedroom door was locked. Homicide detectives inquired about unlocking the door, and Mirta provided the key to unlock the door. Mirta stated that she kept her door locked and was the only person to have a key to the room. During the search of the room, a firearm, later forensically matched to the shell casing recovered in the victim's vehicle was found concealed in the room. During Murda's interview, Murda was questioned about the recovered firearm. Murda claimed the firearm was hers and it was given to her by a family member. On January 5th, 2024, your affiant was notified that the firearm recovered in the closet of Murda forensically matched the shell casings recovered from the victim's vehicle. Due to the statements made by Murda intentionally concealed the firearm in an attempt to impair its availability as evidence during an investigation. Your affiant has reason to believe and does believe the said defendant, Murda I can't pronounce her name. I don't know why. On or about the 21st day of December 23rd in Bexar County, concealed evidence in an attempt to impair the availability as evidence during an investigation. So not only was she trying to hide, so she really was trying to assist both her boyfriend and his son in this. She locked the door. They knew that they were about to have a search warrant, and she intentionally locked the door. I don't know she may have locked the door because she's probably scared Chris might go in there and shoot them, take them. I don't know. But I mean, I don't see it being normal for people to live in a house with family and lock their door. If you have to lock your door and you're the one paying the bills, if that's the way your family is, whatever person making you need to lock that door probably needs to be removed from that residence. Just an opinion of mine. Again, an opinion of mine that I am entitled to have. I digress. So now that we know what's in that statement, let's get back to what we're going to hear from this press conference.
Through our forensic unit, we were able to develop information from surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance.
Before we go too far into this, I just need to ask a favor from everybody in the chat. We have 267 people online right now watching this content. If you guys have not given me a thumbs up, I'd really greatly appreciate it. As many of you know, this stuff does take time to research, prepare, get together, and we really try to present it in an easy, understanding format. If you're learning something, if you appreciate the work that's being done, please go out there right now and give us the thumbs up. If you'd like to learn how to help this channel, you can do it by a multiple of ways. You can do it by super thanks, super chat, super stickers. You can help us sponsor a trip with the running banner below through a Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. And if you would like to do things to help support this channel and help this channel grow for free, the easiest way you can do that is by liking, sharing, subscribing, and just speaking about this channel and the good work that we're doing. We don't sit just behind the screen. For this channel, we actually go out into the field. We are one of the few people, one of the few channels that actually expend the money that we make from this channel to go out, give back to the communities, help out in searches, and do what we can to assist families in crisis. So if that's something you support, please don't forget to say that. Share us out, share us loud, share us proud.
Leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck. At this time, I'll take any questions that you might have.
It was her weapon, right?
Excuse me?
They matched her weapon to the ballistics.
Right. That tampering with evidence, from what we understand, she stated that was her gun.
And again, yes, she does state it's her gun, but she says she received it from a family member. What family member? Was this a family member prior to this, or did she receive this from her stepson? You know, it does say in here that she received it from a family member, that it is her gun. I have a different opinion. Okay. She doesn't seem like the gun-toting chick, right? You know who does? Ramon. Ramon is a felon. Ramon is not allowed to have a gun, but he has a girlfriend that does. Okay. And their son was able to get a hold of that gun and shoot two people. One that was heavily pregnant with a beautiful baby boy. His name was baby Fabian. That baby in her womb was named baby Fabian. I want him to have his name. He deserves his name. He had everything taken from him, and he got the worst of this entire thing. This entire crime, that baby got the worst of it. While mom and dad were taken out quickly, he suffered greatly. And we don't know how long he had to suffer either. He was the one that suffered. And that's why I'm adamant that he needs to be on that indictment.
So we do know that that was her weapon.
And do they believe they were killed in that home? And what was the mother and the stepmom's role in
I'm not sure exactly where. We haven't released any of that information. I'm not sure what the circumstances were, but we do know she was involved in helping get rid of the evidence.
I wonder why they're withholding where they were actually killed and executed at. I don't know why that's so. I mean, there's got to be a reason, in my opinion. It's either that they're confused and not 100% yet, or it goes to the integrity of their investigation. What does that mean? I mean, how can you withhold the location where they were killed? They were either killed at the house or they were not. Why are they making us fight with them to get this information? It seems almost, it's a relevant piece of information, but it seems so petty and irrelevant to the integrity of the investigation that I don't understand why they're withholding it from the public. I just don't know. It just seems a little odd to me for this. I don't know why, but it seems like they're adamant not to inform the public where the actual execution took place.
Concerning those bodies.
On the third, you guys were under the impression that there were only two suspects, or had said that there were two suspects that were arrested?
No, our homicide detectives were aware early on in the investigation that there wasn't a third person involved. We know that from the video surveillance when there is that towel that's everyone's talked about being thrown. At that time, we just didn't have enough evidence to say that that was
I don't know how they wouldn't have enough evidence. If they knew three people were in the house and they knew three people were at least somewhat observed, even though she was, anonymously observed, we knew somebody was in that vehicle. We just didn't know who. It just, I think that they really wanted to make her a witness, but she wasn't cooperating. I think that's what the hesitation was. There's no way that they waited this long to arrest her with all those CCTV footage. I think that they received pressure to make the arrest, either make the arrest or make her a witness. And when she started being uncooperative, they had enough for the arrest. I'm assuming, I'm hoping that's what it was, because I can't figure out. They've had all these videos for a significant amount of time. Why now are they arresting her? And I think it's because she refuses to cooperate or participate. And that's something, when you're dealing with a homicide of a pregnant teen, you don't want to do. They don't care at that point. They don't care who goes to jail. If you want to play with them, fine. They're going to, it's one of those FAFO type of situations. And they let this whole family know, you're not getting away with this.
Mirta Romanos. But like I said, since then, they've developed enough evidence from surveillance video from the home showing her leaving with the two as she gets into that truck. And then when they return to the home, it's her, Christopher, and Ramon in that truck.
Had she called you guys in the past week to come to the house at all? Because I know there's been some reports of vandalism there.
This is interesting. How many people think that it's odd? You're about to find out. How many people think it's odd that they didn't call in the vandalism? Like, she didn't even want law enforcement. I mean, at least over at Billy Joe's, they even with all the crime going on over there, the drugs and all the crap that, in her housing a daughter that, assaulted and killed a 20-month-old child. Even over there, if she was a cop caller, like every 5 minutes she's calling. Nobody's on her property, but she's just calling them. And she had no problem with officers or dealing with officers at her house, knowing that her house was a big pile of evidence.
But I found it awfully odd that Myrna didn't even bother calling law enforcement when Christopher's car was defaced. Sounds a little odd to me. She didn't want law enforcement there. Why?
I'm not aware of any of that.
As of right now, there even the impression there are any more suspects.
At this time, we're confident that there's no more suspects. At this time, we're confident that these were the 3 individuals that were involved in this case.
And I have to believe that because now they've been able to go through their text messages. They would be able to know if he has a girlfriend, or if Christopher was associated with a gang, you know, and he's trying to get his bones, his colors, or whatever he's trying to get. This could also be a situation where he was aspiring to be in or fit in with another crowd, and everybody wanted this kid, you know, gone because they were jealous of him. And I'm speaking of Matthew. You know, everybody was pretty jealous of Matthew and his success in the street game, right? Maybe he wanted in. Maybe he wanted to say, hey, you know, I'm the one that off these people. Let me into your gang. I got my bones. We don't know what the real reason is. I just know whatever Chris said happened, and how it happened is not consistent with even the information that we as the public have, which we have the lowest level of information and the least amount of information out of anybody involved in this case. And we can deduct that this did not happen the way that Chris is explaining it happened. And then you couple it with him bringing the gun to the show. Now we've got premeditation all over this, and we understand why it's a capital murder case, and why I really do feel that Texas is going to seek the death penalty for Chris, and rightfully so.
Do you believe this is connected somehow to a larger crime ring or anything like that?
No, we don't have any information to lead us to believe that. We do know that there was, I guess, a transaction earlier in that night. What happened?
There it is. There it is. There it is. Now, did you guys hear that? There was a transaction earlier in the night. It sounds like this was trip 2 to that house, which even solidifies the premeditation a little bit more. So if we were to take that there was a deal that happened earlier in the night, now we're hearing that this was a drug deal that went bad, right? I personally think this was a robbery. This was, I think that they were called over there for a robbery. I think that maybe the shorting of the drugs, or the additional payment of the drugs, or whatever the case may be that brought them there the second time. I still believe when they were called there, it was specifically to either, I think it was to kill him, either to kill him and rob him, or not finish off paying the debt that he owed him, or something. There was something there. There's a piece of information related to this whole entire thing, that the situation that is not making sense. We're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. If this deal happened earlier that evening, why were they back at that house that time of night? We have to look at that. There's something more here, and I just can't put my finger on it, but there's definitely more here. And the law enforcement just put on the record as factual information, and she did not misspeak. She did not misspeak. The transaction happened earlier that evening. So what brought them back the second time? And this time, Christopher was packing, and 2 people lost their life. Why? That's the huge piece that's going to make this whole entire case come together.
Transpired was Matthew, Guerra, and Savannah were killed. I know.
So you guys still don't know where they were killed, like if it was at home or somewhere else?
We believe it was in that area, right near their home.
How cooperative was she?
How cooperative was she? I know there was a search warrant that was issued a few days ago.
A search warrant where she locked the bedroom door to conceal the firearm. Now, I don't understand, some people's thought process. If I was in a situation like this, which, knock on wood, I would never be in a situation like this because I'm a snitcher, right? You bring me into a homicide investigation, I'm calling 911. If you need to stick the gun to my head too, so be it. But no, you ain't dragging me into this stuff. 911, you need to come help me, right? So I don't foresee myself ever being put in a position like this ever in a million years. But you know, you never know what the future holds. I may decide I don't like this good life I'm living, and I want to be, a piece of garbage. So I want to go gangbang. Okay, Bullhorn Betty's the gangbanger. Okay, Bullhorn Betty's going out there to gangbang. Okay, I know. I get it. I get it. But if I'm going to go out there and gangbang and I decide I'm going to have a petty beef over, you know, my stuff being shorted or not being delivered or whatever the case may be, whatever. And I decide I'm going to execute two young people and I'm on camera and it's blasted on all TV shows. Okay. All TV shows, all news organizations across this country that this heavy set male is in this truck. One, I'd be taking the truck and dropping it or putting it in the garage. First and foremost, I'd be moving it out of the view of other people. Secondly, I would be trying to tell my son, you need to cut your hair. You were just seen with your long, beautiful hair, your pretty little boy features all over this. Time to shave, time to cut your hair, time to get yourself some contacts. Lastly, if I know that the gun was used in a crime and I'm plastered all over the freaking news, that gun is going to go bye-bye, okay? Now, granted, I'm not saying, hey, let's obstruct justice. I'm just saying if I'm in a position like they are and a young teen is executed and I've got the world looking for me, I'm going to be doing some due diligence to stop some of the looking at me. They did nothing. They kept the gun. They kept the car, the truck out in the open in the public. And Christopher, I don't even know what Christopher did. Was he texting people? Did he brag about this? We don't know. But what we do know is Matthew wasn't killed with his gun. He was killed with stepmom's gun. So why would this 19-year-old bring a gun to a dope deal that had happened hours before, potentially? Premeditated. Remember, according to the probable cause affidavit, they showed up at Charlie Chan Drive at 11:50. They were executed and the car was moving within 4 minutes of them arriving. And you still have to take into consideration they had to drag a dead body, which takes a little bit of time. So you're talking about most likely within less than a minute, you had two deceased young people in a vehicle in a matter of a minute from them pulling up. Because I guarantee it took longer moving the body than it did killing the body. Premeditated. There's no question in my mind. How did he get a hold of the gun? Was he handed the gun? Did they know they were meeting him, that he was meeting these people to correct an issue with a delivery or a purchase? Did stepmommy say, hey, before you go have this conversation, you need to make sure you're safe? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I do know? What I do know is that Daddy Dearest likes to teach his children about gangs. There's your loving Ramon, much younger, with a much more impressionable boys, thinking it's cool to be gang affiliated. Impressionable young boys' minds. Gang affiliation is the new orange, right? Is the new orange. I don't know.
There was a search warrant, so they had the authority to go into that home. Today, I don't believe she said much.
What happened to the towel?
I don't have that information.
If they have the gun, I have to think that these people don't throw anything away. So I'm pretty sure they have the towel. The infamous towel, I truly believe they do have.
Any other questions?
Did she confess?
She wasn't cooperative today. Thank you, guys.
So she's the stepmother, right?
We believe she's a stepmom.
Not biological.
Yeah,
She's still married to Ramon, or
I don't know if that's a common law or they're living together, but I don't believe they're legally married. But I'm not for sure. She did live. Them three did live in the house together.
So you heard that. Them three lived in the house together. Now, we did see on Facebook that there are two other siblings, right? So where are those two other siblings? We don't know. They obviously don't live in the house. Probably a good thing. Probably a good thing.
So now you guys are identifying as stepmother.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Now they're going to have the other guy come up, the one that we heard from the when they arrested Ramon and Christopher. That gentleman came up, but he only was speaking and because the lady that was just giving that press conference didn't speak Spanish, so he came there and he gave basically a Spanish speaking press conference so people of Spanish speaking descent can understand what's going on. And again, this is just coming back to, if you have information, if you know Christopher, if you know Ramon, if you know Murda, call law enforcement. If you know anything or seen them in and around from the 21st until yesterday, call law enforcement, let them know what you know. If you've had conversations with them, if you know their whereabouts, if you have them on camera, if law enforcement hasn't spoken to you yet and you have firsthand knowledge, please go ahead and reach out to law enforcement. Be proactive in a situation like this. They may not know you exist or that you have relevant information in the case. I'm very thankful, again, with law enforcement. I'm very appreciative that law enforcement was able to get this case resolved and get this case resolved very quickly. A lot of people say, how is this quickly? This is weeks. I mean, they laid in the car for guys. This is San Antonio. Okay. This is a very violent area. Lots of crimes here go unsolved. They have such a high crime rate and a high violent crime rate in the area of San Antonio. There are so many unsolved homicides. And I truly believe this family was hoping that they would be, and I'm talking about the Preciados, were hoping that they would be able to get away with this. And they tried like hell to get away with it. They thought they were so much smarter than law enforcement. They didn't hide their vehicles. They didn't destroy their guns. And they didn't change their appearance. That's pretty brazen to me. At least some people have a little more common sense to do that. None of them. And I truly believe it was Christopher Preciado in that vehicle, because there was that person in that vehicle looked like a young girl to me. And when I seen Christopher Preciado for the first time, that looked like a young teenage girl to me. As offensive as that might sound, because of being a boy, I'm sorry, he has female features. If you don't believe me, let me put him back up here, okay? Don't get mad at me because I speak the truth, okay? I'm not a PC person. I'm not going to be walking on eggshells, especially on my own damn show. So you guys are just going to have to get the raw version. And if I'm mean, you know what? I'm mean. Right? Stand in line if you don't like me. You know, we have people that love me, people that don't love me. It is what it is. It's a crapshoot anymore. So we're okay with having too much fun over here. Okay, let me show you this. Christopher. Let me get the one here. I think this is perfect right here. If this doesn't, I mean, it looks like a girl. I'm sorry. You guys can be offended by me. But look, yeah, and like he's right next to her, and you wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, come on. Really? You can tell that he's a he? He looks like a she. Very feminine features, beautiful skin, beautiful hair. It was up in a ponytail the night of this. Yeah, like a mean girl, like part of the Mean Girls Club. Exactly. But really, if you saw this guy from a distance, like we saw in that camera footage, would you be able to tell that this is a dude? I don't know if I could tell that this was a dude unless I talked to him. Now, before I get started, hold on. I wanted to get a couple things. I left it in the room. Hold on a second. Let me go grab them. All right, I'm back. I wanted to share with you guys. Before we go any further in this, I felt the need to share. So we love our beautiful Unicorn One Indiana. She is just a spunky lady, a fun, spunky lady. And you guys remember when I lost my cool and said, I don't give 2 F's? Remember that? So our beautiful unicorn said, you know what? Maybe if you can't give 2, we'll be able to give 5, right? She gave me more than 2 give you know what. So I thought this was really cute. It was just really, it's just right into her personality. It was ultra cute. What did I do with the little letter you gave me? Oh, it must still be in there. It must be on my and then I also wanted to say, Cindy, thank you so much for the beautiful card and the loving support for the trip. I do appreciate it. God bless you for that. We are getting money for our trip. For those that don't know, we're going to the Alec Murdaugh new motion for new trial hearing in South Carolina. It's going to cost us a few $100. We're raising the money. I'm just going to stay there. I was wanting to stay there for the full 3 days, but the $300 is only going to be there for a night, which is fine. That gives us 2 full days. I'll be leaving early in the morning to get there before it starts. So I'll only be staying the night in the hotel the night after the first day and into the second day. And then I'll be heading back home after the second day. And so that'll help with the budget and everything like that. So we were working on raising $300. I believe we have just I didn't calculate it, but I believe now we have a little over $100. So if you guys would like to help sponsor this trip, it does cost money to go out to these places if we're going to do a live production, but we budget the money as well as we can. So if you guys are interested in it and you'd like, we always crowdfund for these types of things. So it's, $10 or less is usually good. Some people that can give more, some people that can't give less, but it's a dollar will do campaign. And it just basically means if you have a buck or two to throw it. So you can do that through PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo if you'd like to support this particular trip. We have a lot of trips all over. We're going to be going to the most costly trip for 2024 for us that we foresee right now is going to be the Idaho trip. When we go back for the trial for Brian Kohberger, I expect that to be anywhere between $10,000. I think that the max budget for 6 weeks would be $10,000. The last time we went, it cost us $5,000 just for 1 week. But we're going to be doing this in a way that it's going to be cost effective and keep our budget in check and in place so we can get everything that we need to get done while we are in Idaho. So that's going to be the biggest expense that we have this year so far. So anyways, if you guys would like to donate for this project or any upcoming project that we're going to be, we travel all over this country to bring you guys front row views of these cases. This is a case, this particular case here, we probably will go out. It's just when it was breaking and we didn't know whether it was gang related, I didn't want to put myself into harm's way to find out. And now that we know that this is a little bit of a different situation, it makes me feel, it brings my worry level down a little bit more, where I feel comfortable now going out there and covering this case. So we will probably most likely be in Texas for some of these hearings related to Christopher, his father, and his stepmother, just FYI. So that's really all I have. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions related to this case. I always try to, open up the phone lines just a little bit, just for a little bit of time, for those that would like to express any concerns, make any statements, or if you just have a different perspective that we haven't gone over yet. Sometimes it's so easy when we're looking at stuff that we ourselves, we put these blinders on and we only focus on one specific theory or perspective. And by opening up the phone lines and listening to people talk and listening to people express what they believe, it kind of gets those creative juices flowing for a lot of us to help us, maybe decide this is how we do it. This is how it's done. When we are discussing these cases, it's a roundtable discussion. So if anybody would like to call in, now would be a great time to do it. The number 724-249-6140. Again, 724-249-6140. Just want to see if you have any new information. Maybe you heard some new information or new details about this case that we didn't touch on that you think is important. This would be a great time to get those out there. Betty, can you help me dig up the coffee can backyard? My house. There's stuff back there. This is Betty. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, my love?
Freezing my rear end off.
Oh boy. Tell me about it.
How about you?
I don't know. I went outside last night to get the mail and it was kind of chilly, but I keep my house kind of the same temperature year round.
Oh, I keep the house nice and toasty, but we got down to 30 degrees last night.
Ooh, but you're further north.
Yeah. Time to move further south. My husband used to always joke about, if I want to find his money, I need to start digging up the coffee cans in the backyard.
Time for you to get. We need to get a GoFundMe for you to get one of those metal detectors.
I'm telling you, Betty, come on! It's time we get to digging.
Yep.
It's time to get to digging so we can do these things, and I can go with you on these things.
Oh, I know, that'd be great. That would be great. We're going to be in South Carolina, and then I'm going to move over to Tennessee. I got to drop some things off in Tennessee, and I wanted to do another day of searching out there before I headed back to Florida.
Yeah, I'm kind of fearful for you to go and cover any of this Texas stuff with the kids because that's very dangerous. They're in a very dangerous game, Betty. And I know you and I have both played this game. We've been in the game, but the game has changed a lot since we were in it.
It has. When you start killing pregnant teens, I mean, what's the street life? You guys have no code now.
Right. So please, if you do decide to go, make sure you're buddied up with someone at all times.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I'll be worried sick about you the whole time.
Yeah, well, that's why I always, stay live. When I'm in situations like that, my phone, I just stay on a live. That's when you get those 10-hour lives.
I get it. But I just wanted to say good morning. Did you get any damage from the storm?
My garbage cans fell over. Thank God we were not further north. I mean, I think the East Coast from where you're at got hit pretty significant, but down here further south, I think we got a lot of rain. We had flooding here, but as far as actual damage, no. But I got a screwed down roof, right?
Well, the destruction here is bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. I lost treetops, and the tornado touched down 2.5 blocks away.
Wow.
But it did go over the house. That's the only thing that could have broken off the tops of these large trees the way they did. And then like 2.5 blocks down the road is total destruction.
Yeah, our tornadoes are like water spouts that come on land. And
those tornadoes we got that day were crazy because we don't get tornadoes like that just out the blue.
Not that. I mean, we get those, like I said, the water spouts that come off the land, and they do some destruction. But there was a building knocked over between two buildings. There's this whole entire area, no roofs. I mean, this was an extensive tornado.
Yeah, we had, well, they were saying that here in Panama City, we had 4 confirmed touchdowns here. And then we had 2 confirmed touchdowns out on the beach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I captured some of those touchdowns. It was breathtaking. It took my breath away.
Yeah, I was quite scared.
Yeah.
Once again, me and my lovely, well, it's supposed to be a walk-in closet, but I call it a step-in closet because you can only step into it.
Right.
Once, Hurricane Michael, my husband and I spent 8 hours in it. And so that's where I was once again. But, I do live in a trailer. But this trailer has been here now for 34 years.
Yeah, but just make sure when those hurricanes come, no matter what, you exit that trailer. That trailer is not. When I went down to Fort Myers, you're never going to get those images out of my mind.
Michael, we had no chance of getting out. Because when we went to bed at like 11 o'clock that night, it was supposed to hit us at like a small 3.
Yeah.
Well, we've been through so many small 3s. That's just, to us, that's, you're going to lose your power for a couple days.
I know. That's what real Floridians, we don't even bat an eye at a 3. We go to work.
Yeah. When we woke up, then the next morning, it was a 4 going on a 5 and headed straight to us. There was no getting out.
Yeah.
We would have been crazy to try to get out on the road. And
after being in Florida my entire life, I've learned just to stay put. Like, for example, it was the year of Ian. It was Ian. Which one? Irma. It was Irma. Not Ian's the one that took my roof, I think. I can't remember which one. I'm confused. I think Irma's the one that went first.
Yeah. Too many names.
Yeah, and I remember Irma. I remember my ex-husband, he looked at me, he's like, I really want to go to my brother's. And I'm like, I'm not leaving this house. This house is a block house. It's been erected since 1960s. I'm staying here. But I don't ever want somebody to feel like they have to stay with me, especially if something happened. And, I don't want to be blamed for him. If he feels uncomfortable here, by all means, go to your brother's.
Well, I was very, very fortunate with Michael because right before Michael hit, like 2 months, I had just put a new roof on this house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my roof, I did not lose my roof. Now I lost parts of my outside walls and all the windows and all of that, but was able to rebuild because my roof was fine.
Yeah. And but he left. But listen, he left and he went to his brother's in Bowling Green. Well, it ended up striking him right there. So while he was out there stuck, trees down, no power, no water, they're on wells, so they can't even pump water because there's no power. I'm sitting here in AC and watching TV because I chose not to leave.
Yes, and I have a really big generator. It'll run my aquarium, my window air conditioner, my refrigerator. The cable is under, I had cable TV. So 5 weeks without electric went by pretty good with me, except no water, because I did have my generator.
Yeah. Well, thank God I didn't have to go 5 weeks. I only went my power didn't go out until after the hurricane was passed. Something happened, like a branch or something fell and pushed out. And actually it wasn't the electric. I had electric. It was the, internet. That was so annoying. The internet actually went out after the storm had passed. I had internet in the entire storm watching TV through the hurricane, and then it goes out because and they go to fix the major stuff and leave all the little piddly stuff for their last stuff to fix. So I went days without internet when it was just all they had to do was hook one wire to another wire and we would have all had internet.
Yeah, we were, my husband was with me at that time, and the electric went out. He had the generator ready to where we just had to go out, start it up, and plug everything in.
Yeah.
Well, so we did all that. We were sitting in the living room, and I have an open concept of the kitchen, dining room, living room. And all of a sudden, the kitchen window blew in. And so we shut down the generator and hauled into the closet. And next thing you know, the water and tree branches were coming underneath the door. And I was like, well, if nothing else, we're going together. Well, his big joke afterwards was, well, at least we came out the closet at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are not funny right now. He's like, well, we're not in the
Look at
closet.
the silver lining. You survived. I mean, look at that. I would have gotten a lottery ticket.
And at one point, I had peeked out, and I have this old-time picture where it's me and my husband and all the children when they were little, dressed up in the old-time clothes, and it was hanging on the wall, and the windows were completely gone at that point. Mm-hmm. So I'll book it out the closet, run, grab that, go into another room with it. I turn around, and my big screen TV's gone.
Oh, boy.
And I'm screaming, the effing TV went out the window. He yells, no, it didn't. We're in the bathroom. My main goal was saving the pictures. His was the big screen TV.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But anyway, I don't want to hold you up. Just wanted to touch base with you. And looks like California bound middle of February.
Well, there you go. All right, love. Well, you take care and keep us posted and take care of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, you too, honey.
Stay
always safe. And forever.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love
everybody in the chat.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was really sweet. That was really sweet. You can play Snoop. Mama Llama wants to hear him. We'll have to play that on the other channel. Actually, I think I got to do something. I got to get some work done today. And then maybe, I don't know, we'll probably go on the non-monetized channel and have a fun day. You know, maybe we'll do that on, well, Sunday's always church day, and I always watch my P's and Q's on Sunday. You know, I'm that kind of Christian, right? I'm that kind of Christian. So don't forget, Sunday, we have church. We go there as a group if you'd like to participate. It's not a requirement of this channel. We just open it up because we realize a lot of people are home. A lot of people have mobility issues. A lot of people just can't get around like they used to, and they love the family we created here. And if you would like to join us, feel free to join us. Start at 9:05, and I always post the link in our community post. This is Betty. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Betty. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Well, this is Drew.
Oh, hi, Drew. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Betty.
Yeah. So what do you have to say about this crazy case?
Oh, hold on. I'm sweating like crazy here. I'm having an anxiety attack.
Oh, don't. It's always fun here. I don't fight.
Know. I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay, well, first of all, I believe like all three families are in the game, Betty. They're in San Antonio. You know, I believe maybe, okay, my opinion, maybe they were fighting for who's going to be, you know, selling in San Antonio streets, you know. Three families are fighting over control. Could that be it?
That absolutely could be. It's not too far from what we've learned about the area. Absolutely could be probable.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking that because there's three families like Savannah's, Matthew's, and now the Christopher's family, okay? They're all Mexican, first of all, okay? They're all Spanish. They're all in the game. You could tell, you know, we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we see what we see, right?
Right.
Our eyes do not deceive us. So all three families are part of the game. So, you know, maybe they were fighting for control. Who's gonna, you know, be running the streets, and you know.
And the older people, they're the ones that sit back home now and let the younger people, you know, at their direction do that because they just don't have the energy. You know, like look at Ramon. I mean, he doesn't have the energy to run the streets. He needs somebody. If he's going to be holding some type of corner, he needs to have somebody there.
Yeah, he's a fat man. I mean, excuse my language. He's a fat ass. You know,
mm-hmm.
he's not going to go nowhere. He's
right.
not going to run. He's not going to walk anywhere. And so, you know, now I think the mom, The mom is the one wearing the pants in that family. You could tell she's cold-hearted. It's seeping out of her. Okay. Now the gun, I believe it was her father's gun. It's a sentimental heirloom. So she's not going to get rid of it.
Good
She's not going to get
point.
rid of it.
Good point. Great perspective. I didn't even think about that. Great point.
Yeah, and that's her father's gun. So now the grandfather left the house to Christopher. Okay, that house on Charlie, what is it, Charlie Chan Drive?
Yes.
That belongs to Christopher. When he turned 21, he was going to get that house, and he was going to get whatever money was left to him. But it happened,
Oh,
This happened.
interesting.
Now, let me see. I'm sweating like crazy here. Let me see what else.
Well, you're doing a great
So
job. I just want to let you know, you got me thinking. You got my gears going. I love this.
okay. And I went to the house. I drove around, and when I went, I noticed also like that the camera that was above the garage. So I believe they deleted the footage, but Secret Service went in and got the footage. That's the only way. That's the only way they would
Interesting.
be involved. So I believe, they did delete the footage. She did keep the gun because that belonged to her father. Nobody's gonna get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is. So I
Yeah.
think she's the one wearing the pants in the house. She's cold-hearted. She's a bit.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one running. Roman and Christopher. Now, the thing could have happened because at the corner of Cary Grant, there's a dead end. That dead end leads into John Wayne. Okay, all these streets are from movie stars. Okay, they're named
Okay.
after movie stars. So as you go up Cary Grant, right, go up it, and it's gonna be a dead end. And that dead end where it's like John Wayne and Cary Grant, there's a field. It could have happened there. It's just down the street from the house.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
that might be possible because it's just the whole, the 4 minutes when the car moved and stuff like that they had in that first affidavit that always gives me pause because it just happened so quickly and I couldn't figure that out. But it does make sense with the officer telling us that the transaction actually happened earlier than at that time. So it makes me wonder what was going on at that time that brought them back to that house at almost midnight.
because they went to go do the thing, I think, okay, the mom put the hit, so Christopher, hey, you're going to do anything for your mom. You're going to do anything for your mother, So he did what he had to do for his mom. She put the hit out. He did what he had to do down the street at the dead end, because they're always popping fireworks
Mm-hmm.
and they sound like gunshots. So people were used to it. We're just used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have happened at the dead end. He drives back, boom, he stops at the house for whatever reason, and
For
then
help.
they go back.
Yeah.
They go up. What is it? They hit Danny Kaye because it's all one what do you call it? One triangle.
Okay,
From
so it's
Danny
like
Kaye,
you can start one place and just keep going and go back to it.
yeah.
Okay.
It just circles around, yeah. And between that triangle, there's these other little streets, right? But basically, Danny Kaye, Charlie Chan, I don't know how I'm saying it right. Cary Grant, it's all one triangle. And all that triangle, y'all, they have cameras in all the houses. I drove by.
Yeah, so they've got multiple angles. They've got multiple footage. This family's toast. That I think law enforcement has a lot more than we're going to know until trial.
Right, and it's bound to happen. I mean, it's senseless. It's senseless. What woman is gonna kill another woman? What woman is gonna? I'm saying it was her. I'm saying that she put the hit. So I might be wrong. God forgive me if I am, but we're supposed to take care of each other.
Yeah.
Women are supposed to be there for each other. You're not supposed to put another woman in danger, especially with a child.
And not only that, but we all kind of come from, like for me, I had a walk, a lot of people have a walk and we come from the streets in part in some of our walks. And there's always been a code. The women and children were always left alone. You know,
Exactly.
it's just a code of the street. It's crazy as it sounds, it's a code. And they violated it.
They did. It was something unthinkable. Like, who's gonna do that? It blows my mind. And look, Christopher, I think maybe he might have been special ed because he looks like it when he's walking out in the thing. You know, when he graduated, he looks special ed to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that being special ed. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But there's something a matter with him. Why would he, 19, whatever, how many years in school, whatever? Why would he throw his life away just like that?
And it didn't sound
For
like
what
he had
reason?
any prospects. It didn't sound like he was planning on going to college. It just kind of sounds like he was aloof and
Yeah. You know, he was doing his thing. He was probably a stoner. I mean, I'm a pothead. I've gotten robbed before, okay, out in the streets. I have. And it's dangerous. It is a dangerous thing, especially now in 2024. We're not in back in the days. Now we're living in the end times, so things are dangerous.
mm-hmm.
Why would he?
Are there a
Okay.
lot of I mean, not I know that there's a lot of violence with more significant type of narcotics, like cocaine, crack,
Okay.
all those types of things.
Right.
Is there a lot of violence with the marijuana transactions?
Not really, but it does happen. It doesn't really because marijuana. You smoke it, you kick back. You're not violent. You're nothing.
You're
It's
supposed to
just
be
a part of
mellow, which
you go get your munchies, right? You go to the store, you do that. So it's not no, it's not that. It's not usually that. Now, what's in the San Antonio streets running right now is fentanyl, pills, crystal, heroin, coke, and crystal. Did I say?
yeah.
So basically,
So
and
the
then
hard
there's other
stuff,
new
the
drugs.
real hard
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what's running the streets right now in San Antonio.
Wow.
And weed, but that's out of that's no. It wasn't done over weed. So
Do you think maybe
all these
he's saying that it's potentially marijuana when it was something maybe a little more?
more deep,
Yeah.
something else. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Then that makes
I
sense.
believe so.
Okay.
And let me see. Yeah. So, what else? If you want to ask something, I don't know. But yeah.
Well, we
And
definitely appreciate the perspective. Drew, I know you were really nervous coming up here, but would you be willing to come back for, I'd like to digest what we're talking about and digest this case, but it seems like you have a lot of information, at least, around the area that we're looking at. Would it be okay if I speak to you or refer to you, maybe future?
yeah, we could do that. I just get nervous, because I'm just like that.
That's
In
okay.
the situation. But yeah. I love this kind of stuff. I love it. And yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be happy to join you again, you and the ladies out there.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be going out there. I'm not sure exactly when, but I will be out there because this is a case that I'm heavily invested in. And so I always make at least one tour out there to get some content, get some more information, get a ground perspective of what happened.
And maybe we could meet up also, as long as you don't show my face.
No. I'm really good,
You know?
and I do keep people confidential that want to be confidential. The ones that don't want to be confidential, I'll put up. But if you want to keep your face off and everything, I usually record your feet or record your hands.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and I'm a female. A lot of people confuse me with the guy, but I'm a female.
That's okay. So we have have. I used to smoke.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Nobody knew. The vape gave me my voice back. What can I say?
Hey, but you understand. So yeah, I would love to join you back up here.
Awesome.
Anytime,
Yeah, I will definitely keep you posted on it. If you could reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, then at least I'll have an email and I'll keep you posted for when I decide to go in the area.
Okay, it sounds good to me. And thank you very much. And God bless
Thank you,
okay?
Drew. Thank you. And God bless you too. And again, go have a cup of coffee. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you very much. And to the ladies out there, God bless you and lock y'all's doors.
Yes. Yes. And it's a dangerous place out there. God bless you.
I'm going to go back into the chat.
All right, honey.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, that was so great. So we have a little bit of a bird's eye perspective. Drew apparently had been out there, gave us some good details about the, down, I wrote it down the dead end on Cary Grant. There's a dead end at John Wayne. And there's a place there because, this did happen fairly quickly, but there's nothing. We're assuming, again, we've assumed a lot here. And a lot of the stuff we've assumed has been inaccurate. Like we assumed it was Matthew's gun. It's not Matthew's gun. It's the stepmom's gun. And Drew really kind of honed in on because my thing is, why wouldn't they get rid of the gun? But it being something that's emotionally attached to it being Murda's father's gun, that would explain why she wouldn't get rid of it. It has too much sentimental value to her. But knowing that Chris was just about to acquire that house in a couple more years is, it's a little weird to me. It's a little weird to me. So either way, there's the information. Again, just a big shout out to Connie that called in, Drew that called in. We really appreciate everything that you guys, your perspective, your conversation. It's been really nice. Guys, I want you to have an amazing day. Today is Thursday. We have good news in the Savannah Soto case. It sounds like all people that were involved in this horrible crime are now sitting behind bars. They're sitting behind bars with extensive charges, extensive bonds, and unfortunately, they're about to lose everything that they treasure, including their freedom. All over what? Something senseless, something petty, and something stupid. And a little baby boy never got to make his mark on the world because of something so stupid and petty. And I told you from the very beginning when we heard this case, once everything comes down, we're going to find out how stupid and petty and senseless this crime is. And we are not disappointed in that respect. And to think that parents helped. It doesn't matter how they helped. It just matters that they're parents and they helped their child cover up killing a pregnant mom. There is just no coming back from certain things. I know people, I'm a controversial person and people don't like the words that come out of my mouth. But at the end of the day, how dare you? And anybody that supports any of these family members, to each their own, but you lose my respect every time somebody goes on the side of the bad guys. And you need to start paying attention. Which channels always side with the bad guys? Which ones? Why do they always side with the bad guys? You might want to look at that. God bless you guys. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe first and foremost. And then I want you guys to be kind to one another. We see the ugly. We are all from different areas of this country, of this world. We are all from different areas of background, education, money, prestige, legacy. We are all from different areas and different walks of life. And it doesn't change a few facts. We all have 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days in a week, and we are in our end days. So we have a choice to be part of the destruction or be part of the good and the rebuild. I choose to be part of the good, and I hope each and every one of you choose to as well. Before we close out, I just want to thank our sponsors of this show. Julie, thank you for your valued membership, as well as the gift memberships that you gave to 5 lucky people here. Jennifer, likewise, thank you for your gift membership and, of course, your devotion and just support of this channel. God bless you both for that. And again, all the people that are donating right now, either by Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or just sharing this channel and liking and subscribing, I just want to thank you. We will be making it out to Alec Murdaugh. We have a lot of great trials and information coming up for the year of 2024. And it's going to be, a sad but exciting year for us here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So with that, we're done, folks. folks, go make it a great day. Have fun at work. And don't forget, if you guys have breaking information, you can send that to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Guys, don't forget to rock it out with your coffee beans out. And before we go, I'm going to do my avocation for Manatee County before we close out. God bless you.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. So there's something going on in my community and I need your help with. So this is a double homicide that happened in my community, but there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. This is Thomas Matajek. He actually killed his mother and her boyfriend recently, but the problem here is he shouldn't even have been out of jail. He should have been in a mental hospital, and he is deemed incompetent to stand trial. This right here is our state attorney, and his name is Ed Brodsky. He has been our state attorney in the 12th district for some time. I recently learned our law enforcement officer, Sheriff Rick Wells, has arrested this guy many times and has prepared a case and sent that over to the state prosecutor. Ed Brodsky was supposed to litigate the matter. However, he ended up taking the felony case, reducing it to a misdemeanor, sending it to a misdemeanor court, and then just a month ago sent this deranged mental patient to a halfway house where he escaped and killed his mother. How can you help Bullhorn Betty? You can help Bullhorn Betty by saying, we will not accept this. This is unacceptable. Our law enforcement does their job and they send it over to the prosecutors just to let them go. Now, 2 people in my own backyard have lost their life because of these horrible and poor decisions at the hand of the state prosecutor, not law enforcement. So please, I ask you, is this going to be acceptable in your community as well? This is how you can help. If this case bothers you, if it disgusts you, if you realize 2 people should not be laying in the morgue right now, please consider giving Ed Brodsky a call and letting him know this is unacceptable from any state prosecutor.